You may be shocked to hear this, but I like bodybuilding. I know, it sounds implausible, but there's nothing I enjoy more than going to the gym and smashing some steel together. I'm also an asshole for using phrases like smashing steel. Let's move on. Wrestling on the whole is also filled with those who enjoy lifting weights, and many have even taken to the stage to do it in front of an audience. Triple H, John Cena, the Ultimate Warrior, they took their passion all the way through to its natural conclusion before deciding they'd rather beat up people in the ring. Those guys don't make this list because WWE has always made clear it was in their past. What's more interesting are the performers who have followed this path and yet barely get a mention. Doesn't seem fair, so let's write that right now. I'm Simon from WhatCulture. Please do hit that subscribe button. This is 10 wrestlers you didn't know were bodybuilders. Number 10, Hercules. Remember Hercules? If not, you're probably not old. But Ray Fernandez was the man responsible for playing this Roman hero in the late 80s and early 90s. But before he got into the squared circle, he was donning a different kind of small pants and getting involved with bodybuilding. This was kind of interesting too for gym nerds like me, because take his WrestleMania clash against the Ultimate Warrior. Whereas Warrior always decided to stay as lean as he could, Hercules went for sheer size, meaning you were basically looking at both ends of the bodybuilding spectrum. Don't get me wrong, both were massive, but it was proof of what you could and couldn't get away with when it came to sports entertainment. Probably most famous for his Power and Glory tag team with Paul Roma, now you know that before he decided to slam fools, Big Herc was just flexing around the country instead. Can imagine it was equally as hard. Those comps ain't easy. Number 9, David Otunga. Speaking to bodybuilding.com, David Otunga straight up said that he used the gym to turn himself into a sculpted statue and shed the image of him just being a short, chubby kid. They were his own words, as was the fact all of this was about internal happiness as opposed to competitiveness. The coolest part was how it all took hold. After starting working at home and not feeling like he was progressing, it was a chance meeting with a female classmate from school in a mall that sparked things to life. She randomly grabbed his arm, commented she could feel his muscle, and that was that. The motivation was there and off he went. He got more serious with it, treated the whole thing as a lifestyle, and before you know it, used his physique to steer him into wrestling. Unfortunately, it didn't quite work out in the ring with WWE, but he is still only in his late 30s as I record this. You just never know. Number 8, Kaitlyn. Since leaving pro wrestling in 2014, Kaitlyn has got her fingers in many pies. She has a fitness clothing company, opened a smoothie bar, and when the time calls for it, will still step back in the ring here and there. Before all of this though, back in 2010 she was bodybuilding, and it's one of the things that caught WWE's eye. She was stacked. This was likely helped by her run in 2006 when she won the NPC John Sermon Classic Bodybuilding Figure and Fitness Championship, and also placed 5th in her field at the Arnold Classic. It's not too shabby. She's also been featured in Flex magazine and placed in numerous fitness competitions the world over. Not like she stopped this now either. She may not be competing anymore, but there's no denying if Kaitlyn wanted to step back on stage, she could do it tomorrow. Number 7, Ivan Putski. The Polish Hammer, as he was known, was a familiar face in the 70s and 80s in the pro wrestling scene. As you can probably tell, he was also a keen bodybuilder. Doesn't take a genius to work that out, and he used his look to influence his powerhouse in-ring style. Where Putski was concerned though, it wasn't about being symmetrical or having a pleasing aesthetic. He just wanted to train hard so that he could get strong, and he did compete in strongman tournaments all across the globe. That was his thing. It's why in 1978 he entered the World's Strongest Man tournament and finished 8th. Admittedly, there was only 10 entrants, but still, if you've ever seen those challenges, you know they're no joke, and for Ivan to throw himself into this is all the proof you need of his desire and dedication. Certainly didn't hurt when it came to wrestling either, as he had the look from day one. Number 6, Victoria. Victoria did a lot in wrestling. She began as one of the Godfather's hoes, which I hate saying, but a fact is a fact, before winning the women's title twice and then going on to TNA as Tara and winning their top piece of gold too. Before training to be a wrestler in 2000 though, Victoria was bodybuilding. Under her real name of Lisa Marie Veron, she entered her first major competition in 1995. It went well and she carried that on into ESPN2's Fitness America series 2 years later in 1997, and she followed that up by placing 2nd the next year in 1998. Veron then exploded and smashed it in the Debbie Kruk Fitness Classic in 1999, the Life Quest Triple Crown in 1997 where she ranked in the top 20, the MPC when she was first in 1995 and 2nd in 1999, and the Women's Tri Fitness, where she placed 4th in 1998. Breathe. That is a heck of a lot to do before taking your first bump, and a damn impressive resume all round. Number 5, Batista. If there's anyone who thinks they're too old to start training, just look at Batista. The man is 50 years old, and as he showed us at WrestleMania 36, he's still jacked. As he told bodybuilding.com, he puts this down to his high-intensity, low-weight routines, which allow him to work out hard without putting too much strain on his joints. A new way to keep him on the straight and narrow during a difficult time during his childhood. He never felt like he could step onto a stage and flex his stuff as he didn't think he had the physique to compete. Like all of us, Big Dave doesn't see what others do. Instead, he aimed for pro wrestling until finally ending any thoughts of competing when he started to find success in this direction. Not like it hurt him in that regard. He is a multi-time world champion, and look at him, no one is ever going to call him small. Big Dave has also used his physique in order to enter the world of movies where somehow he's able to be a gargantuan man, but still get roles that a lot of people would call emotional and even sensitive. I don't know how he's done that other than to say he must actually be a good actor. And if you do go out there and search the internet right now, you can find quotes where he says he doesn't like what The Rock does and thinks that he's kinda crap. Not that I'm trying to stir up any beef here, it's just something I read the other day and it made me laugh and ironically raise a little eyebrow. Number 4, Sting. Look at that. You know who that is? You should do. I just told you. But in case you weren't listening, it is Steve Borden, aka Sting. That is right. In his younger days, the face-painted one donned many a stage and busted out the odd double bicep pose. Older fans may also recognize this look as the one he had when he stood next to the Ultimate Warrior as part of the Power Team USA movement, a group of rookies spearheaded by Rick Bassman in the 80s. Much like others in this list though, his true love was the squared circle, and when he saw things going well there, he stopped competing in order to keep his body as healthy as possible. The fact that Sting also enjoyed hurling people around a ring more so than this meant it was a no-brainer. Can't blame him, it is fun. Number 3, Alexa Bliss. A seriously inspirational tale, Alexa Bliss has told the story in many interviews about how she used bodybuilding to overcome a very serious eating disorder. Allowing her to move past her body dysmorphia, it was also responsible for giving her the motivation to live her wrestling dreams too. That all went down in 2013, but before that, as she was riding this wave, Bliss made it all the way to the Arnold Classic, a proper event on the bodybuilding calendar, hence why it's come up here twice. Remind yourself that she's only 28 as I say these words and already won the women's title 5 times, and I think it's safe to say that Alexa is a bit of a role model. She hit rock bottom but came out the other side even higher than she thought possible. That is pretty damn cool. Number 2, the Great Khali. We all like to rag on the Great Khali these days because of his up and down wrestling career. He always looked like he could kill you, but his savage knees were responsible for ensuring he was super limited in the ring. Go back before that though, and Khali was a tank. Winning Mr. India in 1995 and 1996, he also had a 66-inch chest. If you don't know how big that is, go and get a tape measure. It is incredible. No wonder he got snapped up into the world of pro wrestling. You look like that and have height, you are a shoo-in. The Great One would never compete professionally, but had a damn good amateur career, and really all you need to do now is head on over to Google and take a look for yourself. You won't believe your eyes, and will think the one that we saw in WWE was a double, and that the original guy just vanished into dust. Number 1, Steve Blackman. Steve Blackman was a tough SOB. This was obvious anyway. There's also loads of stories from the likes of JBL and Ken Shamrock saying how much of a bad dude he was. Some of those kicks he used to dish out were more than just a little legit. Before he broke into the business in the mid-80s, however, Blackman balanced his time with his martial arts and, you'll be surprised to hear, bodybuilding. He was competitive, taking part in many a meet, and not doing so badly at all. Like many on this list, the wrestling bug eventually took a chunk out of his heart, and he decided that was what he wanted to try to do more. I'm sure as he was one half of Head Cheese, he was truly pleased with his choice. Quick tangent too, I actually loved Steve Blackman. I don't know why, he was just so serious and he made a kendo stick look really cool. I'd like for him to come back one of these days, even though I think there's more chance of CM Punk headlining WrestleMania 36. And if that went over your head, please don't tweet me. Know of any other wrestlers that nobody knew were bodybuilders, except for when you look at their physique and go, that's probably a bodybuilder? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Then head over to WhatCulture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow WhatCulture on Twitter, WhatCulture WWE. And if you are here on WhatCulture Wrestling on YouTube, why not watch some more videos? My name is Simon from WhatCulture. Remember, going to the gym is cool, going to the gym helps your brain, and going to the gym can give you awesome looking biceps, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also, given that this is a list about bodybuilding, shout out to Triple H the Game, because without him, I would have never picked up a weight. True story, goodbye.